Alright, so now we're going to do solving by factoring, which just means we factor and then we do one more step. Okay, a friendly reminder, you cannot solve unless it equals 0. So remember we discussed in an earlier video, got some stuff you can simplify. If it's got some stuff with an equal, a 0 or equal a number, either one, then you can solve. Alright, so there's this thing called the zero factor property where, like, if we have two numbers and when you multiply them together, okay, and you get 0, one of them has to be 0 or both have to be 0. Okay, and so I'm going to explain this a little further as we do a problem because I just find that that's way easier than explaining some complicated math theorem to y'all. I don't know why it's got this glitch. Really frustrating. All right, so the zero product property says if you've got two things that are being multiplied together and they equal 0, one of them or both equals 0. So what you need to do is you need to set each thing equal to 0. So that's what I did. I set that factor equal to 0 and that factor equal to 0. So 4x minus 9 equals 0. So we get 4x and then add 9 to both sides. So now we have positive 9. And then we're going to divide by 4 because he's being multiplied. So we get 9 over 4. That's one of our answers. And then we're going to add 1 to both sides. And then we're going to divide by 2. So 1/2. Okay, so our two answers here are x equals 9/4 and x equals 1/2. Leave them as fractions, don't write them as a decimal. Let's do another. Let's see if I want to give it a minute and see if this stuff goes away. Alright, so if you've got factors and they're being multiplied, you can set them equal to 0. Okay, so 4x equals 0, we're going to divide by 4 on both sides. 0 divided by 4 is just 0. Stick it in your calculator, it'll tell you 0. Now if you stick the 0 over a number is just 0, but any number over 0 is undefined. The world will end. If you do it in your calculator, it'll say like undefined, can't do, error, something like that. Alright, this guy, 5x plus 7, we're going to subtract 7 on both sides. Then we're going to divide by 5 on both sides. So we get 0 and negative 7/5 as our two answers. Notice we're getting two answers. Alright, so on this guy. Okay, so first we have to factor, then solve. So we're going to figure out what multiplies to give us negative 12. There's no number here, so we can do this way. Adds to give us 1. Okay, well that's 3 and 4, but we need a positive 1, so 4 is positive, so 3 is negative. So we're going to do x minus 3. I don't know if y'all see that again. Hang on. Oh, no, hang on. Alright, let's see. I'll try this again. We got to solve it, so we're going to figure out what multiplies to give us negative 12. Adds to give us 1. Okay, that's 3 and 4, because 4 minus 3 is 1. So 4 minus 3 is the exact same as 4 plus negative 3, which is the same as negative 3 plus 4. It's kind of confusing. 4 minus 3 is the same as 4 plus negative 3, which is the same as negative 3 plus 4. Okay, it all gives you positive 1. Alright, so we have x minus 3, x plus 4. Alright, those are the factors. But we need the solutions. We need to solve it. So we're going to set the factors equal to 0. So we get x minus 3 equals 0, x plus 4 equals 0. So over here, it's being subtracted. So the opposite of subtraction is add. So I'm going to add 3 to both sides, and I get positive 3. And over here, the 4 is being added. So the opposite of addition is subtraction. Okay, so I get negative 4. So another problem. here. What multiplies to give us negative 60, adds to give us 4. 10 and 6. 4 is positive, so 10 is positive, 6 is negative. I'm going to do x plus 10, x minus 6. These are factors. But I need to solve it, so I need to set each of the factors equal to 0 because it says solve, and you can only solve when it equals. So x minus 10 equals 0. I'm going to add 10 to both sides. Then x minus 6 equals 0. I'm going to add 6 to both sides. Uh-oh, hang on. This is positive 10. I make mistakes all the time. So positive 10. This should be a positive 10 right here. This should be a positive 10. I'm going to subtract 10 to both sides. Notice the pattern. This was a positive 10. The factor is a positive 10. The solution is a negative 10. Over here, this is a negative 6. The factor is a negative 6. The solution is a positive 6. Okay, here. This guy's a negative 3. The factor is a negative 3. The solution is a positive 3. Here's a positive 4. Factor is a positive 4. Solution is a negative 4. So factor and solution are opposite. Right, so here we have a number in front. So we need to do 2 times 6. We get 12. So something's going to multiply to give me 12, but add to give me 8. It just so happens it's also 2 and 6. It doesn't always work out where it's those numbers. So I'm going to do 2x squared plus this 2x plus this 6x plus that 6. Factor by grouping, because it's just putting everything we've learned together. So there's a 2x I can take out. So x plus 1. They have to be the same. I can take out a 6. Oh, I could have factored out a 2 at the beginning. 2x plus 6. X plus 1. Alright, 2x plus 6. I can take out a 2. So I really have x plus 3. X plus 1. Alright, I'm coming here. Alright, I'm going to do x plus 3 equals 0. So I get negative 3. And I get x plus 1 equals 0. So I get negative 1. Those are my two answers. Okay, let's do one where it doesn't equal 0. You have to make it equal 0. So we get 3x squared plus 2x minus 8. So I'm going to move everything over to the left side. Letter left. All right, we're going to do 3 times 8, negative 8. So I get negative 24. Okay, and so I need to figure out multiplies to give me negative 24. Adds, give me 2, 4, and 6. I need a negative 24 and a positive 2, so I'm going to get a negative 4. So I get 3x squared plus 4x from here, negative 4. Negative 4x plus 6 from here, minus 8 from here, so 0. Alright, factor. So I just take out an x. I get 3x minus 4. He has to be 3x minus 4. And so I took out a 2. So I get x plus 2, 3x minus 4. Okay, and then I'm going to set each of these factors equal to 0. So x plus 2 equals 0. So that means I'm going to get x equals, subtract 2 on both sides. Then I get 3x minus 4 equals 0. So I'm going to add 4 on both sides. That 3 is being multiplied. So I need to divide by 3 on both sides. I get my answers are negative 2 and 4/3. Notice this has a squared, so I'm going to get 2 answers. Notice this has a squared, so I got 2 answers on the previous problem. Okay, so whatever that exponent is tells you what you'll get. Let's do right here. Alright, 7x squared, move everything over, plus 42x. When I move it across the equal sign, I'm going to change the sign. minus 49. I can take out a 7. So I get x squared plus 6x minus 7. I'm just going to deal with the stuff inside. What multiplies to give me negative 7 adds to give me 6. So 1 and 7. So I need a positive 6. So 1's negative. Negative 1 times 7, negative 7. Negative 1 plus 7, positive 6. I got my lonely 7. So even though I had a 7 to begin with, I took him out. So really, there's nothing right here next to x squared. So it's x minus 1, x plus 7 equals 0 from here. Okay, so I'm going to do x minus 1 equals 0, add 1 to both sides, and then x plus 7 equals 0. Okay, that 7's being added, so we're going to subtract. Okay, so that's solving by factoring. All we're doing now is once we get our factors, okay, and the factors are the things in parentheses. Once we get our factors, you just set it equal to 0 and solve. That's the only extra step we're doing now. All right, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.